Welcome to the big story of the day, which is all about the havoc of the monsoon across the country. Following a slow start, India was deluded this year with its heaviest monsoon rains in a quarter century. The unexpectedly wet summer months brought intense flooding and widespread displacements. It also inflamed regional tensions. The monsoon season officially had the highest recorded rainfall since 1994, according to India's Meteorological Department. Total precipitation was about 10% above average, although some regions registered significantly more rainfalls than others. Meanwhile, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Bihar and Kerala were the hardest hit, with more than 1 million residents displaced between the four states. In recent weeks, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, the two northern states in Ganges River watershed, experienced severe late-season rains which swept drainage system and killed more than 100 people. In July, abnormally heavy monsoon rains also inundated India's neighbor. Intense storms sparkled tension between Nepal and India, with the former accusing India of constructing flood embankments along the border in a way that endangers villagers on the Nepalese side. The year 2020 will go down in history as the year of COVID-19, but the pandemic and the lockdowns that followed may also be remembered for their temporary signatures on the global environment. Thanks to reduced human activities across the globe, several reports of positive changes emerged, including improvement in the air quality, even cleaner water bodies, and sightings of the animals and birds in unusual places. In a warming world, in fact, was unusual during this pre-monsoon season was the cooler than normal surface temperatures over the much of the northern India. The combination of a cold land and a warm ocean would generally be bad news for the monsoon, because reduced land-ocean thermal contrast tends to weaken the monsoon circulation. And sure enough, the season thus far has clear signatures of a strong monsoon in the place of a weak circulation. The pre-monsoon season brought unusually high rainfall over India, with the country registering 20% more than normal rainfall between March and May. The similar water than normal situation was seen over much of Iran, Pakistan and Afghanistan during these months, creating favorable conditions for locust swarms unlike any seen in many decades. The record Arctic warming may have contributed to the excess western disturbance activity, piping in moisture all the way from the Mediterranean into India and its neighboring countries. Initially, the IMD was predicting a monsoon onset on around June 5, almost a week later than a normal onset of June 1st. However, Super Cyclone Amphan occurred over the Bay of Bengal in the mid-May, and it experienced a rapid intensification as expected from the warmer Indian Ocean. It also dragged the monsoon through over Andaman to cause the onset of the monsoon there just a day later than the normal. All this while, monsoon circulation had remained weaker than normal, and it created favorable conditions for the formation of cyclone Nisarga over the Arabian Sea late in the pre-monsoon cyclone season. Nisarga was born on June 1, intensified rapidly, and also pulled forward the monsoon through. As a result, the monsoon onset happened on time on June 1st, despite the prevailing weak southwesterly winds. Under normal Clearly, the low-level jet did not grow as it would under a normal evolution of monsoon, and the weak monsoon circulation has continued. The evidence is clear in terms of the deficit rainfall across the entire west coast of India till the end of July. The monsoon, through in the meantime, continued to march north ahead of time because of another low-pressure system over the northern Bay of Bengal during the second week of June. However, without the strengthening of the low-level jet, the moisture supply remained deficient, and much of the core monsoon zone still remains drier than normal. The bad news, of course, is that even as normal monsoon circulation remains weak and monsoon below average, extreme rainfalls, events and floods have occurred over Assam, Bihar and Mumbai, as well as a deadly landslide in Idukki. Intermittent floods have also occurred over the central India, extending from the Gujarat to the east coast. The season is forecasted to end up with normal monsoon rainfall that is within 10% of the long-term average. It's clear that the oceans and the atmosphere will continue to warm because of the human activities, and the large heat capacity of the ocean means the small reductions in pollution will not stop its warming. Even if a sustained reduction in pollution in future results in a favorable land-ocean contrast and a monsoon recovery, nothing will be normal about the future monsoons. The onset, the spatial and temporal distribution, large-scale rainfall extremes and the withdrawal are all behaving erratically, with the pre- and post-monsoon cyclones adding to the mix of extreme events. In fact, India needs to continue to improve its forecast system from short days from day 1 to day 3, medium days 3 to 10, and extended weeks 2 to 4 range, as well as season to season, interannual seasons, that's 1 to 4 time scales. The good news is that the models and computational facilities along with the personnel are in place. continued maintenance and expansion of the observational network and international collaborations to continue improving the process and predictive undertakings of the monsoons are national imperative. It was the latest monsoon-related disaster that has taken at least 150 lives in India, where environmentalists say climate change has altered the pattern of the monsoon season. It now brings short, intense bursts of rain instead of the steady showers that historically rejuvenated the soil from June to September. Searching through the rubble of tea plantation that collapsed after heavy rains lashed India's southern Kerala last week, rescuers counted 55 casualties. The resulting landslide buried homes of several workers in the hillside debris. Several children were among the victims. In the north and east of the country, an estimated 8 million grappled with the trail of destruction as swollen rivers inundated vast swaths of farmland and villages, destroying tortured homes and crops in two of India's poorest states, that is Assam and Bihar. Among those who saw their land disappear under the water was Raj Kumar, who travels every summer from New Delhi, where he works as a driver, to sow his fields in a village in Bihar. His 1 hectare plot of land that he planted with rice in early July was flooded with 6 feet of water after the nearby river overran its banks. If you have more than 100 millimeters of rain within 24 hours, it's called an extreme rainfall event. But the problem is that we are getting 100 millimeters of rainfall within an hour now, said Chandra Bhushan, who heads the International Forum for Environment, Sustainability and Technology in New Delhi. And I quote him here, "Even the definition of extreme rainfall events will have to change considering the quantity of rain. The intensity of rains we are experiencing now," he said. It is a crisis within a crisis, according to Tirth Prasad Saika, the Joint Director of Assam-based Northeast Area Affected Development Society, a voluntary group that helps vulnerable communities. This year, due to the lockdown, transportation, communication, accessing markets to procure relief items and gathering funds from big organizations have all been difficult, Saikia said. Meanwhile, India's megacities have not been spared the consequences of the changing monsoon patterns. Vehicles in Mumbai were submerged and people waded through the knee-deep water when the heaviest rain in a single day in 15 years slashed the city earlier this year. Well, that was the big story of the day. We'll be back tomorrow with another big story and another topic. Till then, take care and thank you for watching.